First of all, I think many might find this as a surprise, perhaps, how much the U.S. is reliant on China for drug manufacturing. How long has this been going on, Rosemary?
Well, Marni, China RX was published in 2018. It was the first exposing this issue of our dependence on a single country. It's not just us, it's the whole world. And we have a lot of opportunity to begin to fix it. And what President Trump talked about is tariffs, and that could very well work for the brand name drugs. And we see companies, as your intro says, are moving back here to manufacture drugs in the United States of America. But we have a lot of generic drugs. And I think we're going to need a number of different policy tools to bring that manufacturing back because they're much cheaper and the margins are a lot smaller.
When you say generic drugs, what types of drugs are you talking about? And I guess my next question about that would be regulations, right? You assume, and maybe it's wrong to assume, but if it's made in the U.S., there are certain regulations that the pharmaceutical companies would follow. Is the same true of the drugs being made generically in China?
Regrettably, China has not respected the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, and its role in protecting the American public. China has refused inspections where FDA sends people over to ensure that our medicines are being manufactured properly. And so it's not just our supply chain, but also what are we getting? What's the quality and safety of what is being produced? The Department of Defense has started a generic drug testing program, and there are problems. There are lots of manufacturing defects in products that are coming in, often in plants that have not been inspected, whether it's in India or China. So we have tools here, and one of the tools is let's use our tax dollars. Department of Defense, HHS, and other departments and agencies purchase a lot of generic drugs. Why don't we use our tax dollars to purchase domestically made by U.S.-owned companies here in the United States? And that will very swiftly, I believe, bring back domestic manufacturing of generic drugs. Again, they're 90% of what we all take. They're in the hospital, big hospitals that you go in if you're in a car accident, heaven forbid, or if you have a serious infection. We can bring that drug manufacturing back home for generics by using our procurement dollars in the federal government differently. And that, I believe, will be a game changer.
Right. So bringing it home is a good thing. But logistically speaking, we've heard from so many companies that say, we'd love to do this, but it's going to take time and a lot of money to do so. In the drug industry, what might that look like in terms of the time frame?
Well, Marni, I think it's possible. We have to start somewhere. And the federal government has started slowly in 2019 and 2020. And if we put our minds to it, we can do anything. We're not trying to bring back the whole supply chain, but let's start with those essential generic drugs that are most important that a country needs to survive.
Does that, though, mean, Rosemary, that if U.S. manufacturers are able to buy the generic ingredients here, they will be more expensive? I mean, something like ibuprofen?
Well, I think what's important to know is that it's often the manufacturers actually get very small amounts of the total cost of a drug because we have a lot of middlemen. So we have to take a close look at how much the middlemen get and how much the manufacturers get. It's shocking. I talked to a manufacturer who's been in the industry for years, and he said, I went to the drugstore to pick up my blood pressure medicine, 3 months supply, cost him more than $150. And he asked me, guess how much the manufacturer would get paid? I said, well, maybe $20. He said, no, I've made this drug, and the manufacturer would get $1. So where's the other $149 go? So let's separate the manufacturer from all the middlemen that take a piece of the action. And let's put the money back into manufacturing in the United States.
Wow. Interesting. So what is the role of you and me and folks at home? How can we play a part in expediting what you clearly think would be a good thing long term for the U.S.?
Well, I had someone contact me on X at Rosemary 100, and this person went into the VA, a long time military service, And she was concerned when she got the bottle of medicine and looked at it, and it was made in China. And she's very astute, and she began to ask the question, well, was this made in a plant that was inspected by the FDA?
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.